I'm Kevin McCusker, and this is Giant Talk. My guest today is Dr. Mehmet Ozturk. He's our director of, now correct me if I'm wrong here because it's a long title, it's Institutional Planning, Effectiveness, and Research? No.
Close enough. It's
Close
actually
enough?
Director of Research, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness.
I had the components right. I just had the order wrong. Okay. Well, Dr. Ozturk, thanks for coming. We appreciate having you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're relatively new here at COS.
Yes.
It's been about a year, right?
Yes.
So where did you join COS from? What were you doing before you came here?
Well, yes, it has been a year. I started last year in August. Before coming to COS, I was at a postgraduate school in Monterey.
Mm-hmm.
I was in charge of institutional research and planning. Before that, actually, I was at Arizona State for a while. It was about 8 years. I was working for the university, which is a Research One university, in the areas of research, evaluation, and assessment. I started as a research analyst there, and then by the time I left there, I was associate vice president for research and evaluation. Before Arizona State, I was at UC Berkeley. I've done a postdoctorate work there. My postdoctorate work was focusing on high academic achievement, specifically in STEM fields, which is science, technology, engineering, and the mathematics areas. Before UC Berkeley, I was at USC. I spent about 7 years at USC, both working and also earning my doctorate. I've completed a doctorate, my PhD in education policy, planning, and administration. Before USC, I was in Michigan. It's very different than Southern California weather. Yes, so I came to Michigan. I'm originally from Turkey. I came to Michigan just to learn English, which I'm still doing since that day. I attended an intensive summer language course there. Mm-hmm. And then while I was there, I found out that Michigan State ranked #1 in my area, which was higher education administration. So I applied to the program and I got accepted. So I completed my master's degree there in higher education administration. Ah. And then, once you have a graduate degree, people ask, what are you going to do? Well, I might as well go for a PhD. So I didn't know what to do with a master's degree. Then that's why I came to USC.
To USC, and that brought you to California here. Now, yes. What you do here is difficult, I think, for a lot of people who are outside of education and outside of your field to really kind of get their mind around. So, institutional research. Can you explain in kind of common language or layman's terms, what is institutional research? Why is it different than research in general? What makes it different? What is it? What's its purpose?
That's a great question, actually. While I was at Arizona State, I used to teach a course, actually. It was designed for doctoral students in education leadership program. Those were the people who wanted to become administrators for higher education institutions. I realized that there was a need for people who are in higher education. They need to be familiar with research, assessment, and evaluation. So I designed the course and titled the course Institutional Research and Evaluation in U.S. Higher Education. So as part of my course, actually, we had a 6-hour segment just to answer that question you just asked. What is the research? What is the evaluation? And what is the institutional research? I'm just going to make it quick.
Okay.
In order to understand institutional research, I think we can start with the concept of measurement. So what is a measurement? Measurement is a process of assigning a number or value to either a behavior or an object or phenomenon. So an assessment is related to measurement. So the assessment is a process of measuring something. That something might be as a learning, behavior, or an object. And then evaluation is actually a process of determining value or worth of something. That something, again, could be a behavior, could be an event, could be a phenomenon, or it could be a simple object. And then the research, in general terms, is a systematic effort to investigate on a particular subject. So it has to be systemic, and it has to be generalizable. The knowledge we produce from the research has to be generalizable. Then institutional research is different than all these areas. However, institutional research can be, in broad terms, defined as an umbrella field that covers all these areas at some level. So specifically institutional research focuses on type of work being done in the areas of schools, colleges, and universities. The main purpose is usually to provide support for decision systems.
Decision making.
Decision making, yes.
Right.
How do we produce evidence that will help policymakers and administrations make sound decisions? So
Right.
that's I will call it the bottom line. And then there is a continuing trend these days is actually the concept of institutional research is being expanded. Now the new term is actually institutional effectiveness.
Effectiveness, right.
That covers actually several important areas that actually COS and other higher education institutions are actually dealing with. The accreditation is one,
Right.
assessment, planning, research, and some other places they also include what we call it decision support systems. Sometimes it's technology services or information technology or data warehousing.
Well, and one of the things I think is interesting when you talk about the incorporation of effectiveness into institutional planning. So let's say you have some evidence that indicates an organization, if they only had 2 courses of action, they should choose course A. And you have data, you have information that backs that up. You still have to come back later and evaluate it again to see if it was an effective decision. Did it produce the results that you wanted it to produce? Did it help the organization reach its goals and its objectives? Is that an accurate assessment, do you think?
Yes, it is. It is also important to note that data analysis is important. However, for policymaking purposes, there are other elements involved. So each data analysis should come with a context. Well, we say in our field, data is important, but it should have a context. Data without a context may easily become a pretext.
Right.
So we have to be sure that there is a good context for use.
Mm-hmm. So now we've recently just submitted our latest accreditation report. Just went out a couple of days ago to the Accrediting Commission. Where are we at in that cycle on our accreditation? What's going to happen in the near future here?
Yes, as you said, we successfully submitted our follow-up report in October. And the next step in that process is actually we're expecting a visit from the ACCJC evaluation team. So that will take place in November. Mm-hmm. After that visit, the commission will invite representatives from our district to present or provide additional information that was submitted in the report. So that will take place in January 2015. And in February 2015, the commission actually will send us a letter notifying the status of accreditation report we submitted.
Right. Right. Okay.
But it doesn't stop there. I mean, accreditation is a continuous process. Once we are cleared off our current status, so we have next year is actually our mid-year report. So we have to work on that. That's fall 2014.
Right. The midterm comes between. It's a 6-year cycle, right?
Yes.
And so that'll be the midpoint of our 6-year cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that ends in fall 2014, and then spring 2015. That's our new cycle starts. So we have to prepare for that one.
Right.
And for 2017, Commission announced a new standard, so we have to adapt those new standards.
And then we'll be adapting to the new
we'll
standards.
We'll be busy in 2017 and 2018 as well, so it's a continuous process.
So let's just real briefly, how do you see institutional planning and research and effectiveness, these elements, how does that unfold in the future for here at College of the Sequoias? We don't have a lot of time left, so it's probably an unfair question for me to throw out at the end. But how do you see that unfolding and changing the culture and the organization here at the college?
I think we already see signs of change. As you know, our COS 2.0 is a new paradigm, new way of thinking for us. You know, as part of that, actually, we focus on kind of a change of culture. From a research perspective, we've been promoting, culture of evidence. So it will take some time, but I think people started to pay a little bit more attention and kind of appreciate the value of data analysis, which is an integral part of our new integrated planning model,
right.
and also COS 2.0. Mm-hmm. So we are providing additional awareness, and we're also in the process of developing some training sessions, work sessions, and workshops. So we're hoping that we're going to promote more use of research and analysis and data.
Well, that's a lot going on, and you and I, our offices actually share the same office space, so I know how busy you guys are all the time. So I really appreciate you taking the time and coming to join us and chat a little bit.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. I'm Kevin McCusker. This has been Giant Talk. If you have any comments or suggestions for future topics, please email us, publicinfo@cos.edu. Also, I'd like to invite any students who are out there who have original music with no copyright infringements or anything like that. Contact us, publicinfo@cos.edu. We'll consider playing a clip of your music as our intro or our outro in upcoming episodes. So once again, this is Giant Talk. I'm Kevin McCusker. Thanks for watching.